live on YouTube.
Hello?
I can hear you. Hey. Or is it my network?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I was just trying to get your permission to go live on YouTube. You stop the live.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you very much for the permission. Madam Oluwatoyin, why are you responding now? It's not you we are talking to. I'll pause our own questions and I'll do it later. Madam Kike Lomo Taiwo, success is the ability not to quit in the time of trouble. I love that. And so I will now read Madam Oluwatoyin's response. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose. And I love this definition, and I'll tell you why. And the reason is, while we can start from you really defining what does success mean to me. Now, be asking you if you can respond. You need to ask yourself, if I'm Jomiloju, what is success to me? What is success to me? If I'm Dorcas, what is success to me? Madam Fisa, what is success to me? What is success to Dr. Temidayo? What is success to Tony Oyeniran? What is success to, I don't know who is Redmi Note. I hope you can rename yourself. Obviously. And why did I say that? Success to some people is getting married. And if they are not married, they feel they are not successful. And that is where the Holy Spirit said that we should start from tonight, to say you need to redefine success around the fulfillment of my purpose for your life. Because, yes, I understand that God is the one that it is not good for a man to be alone. And I will make it suitable for him or her, right? However, you need to actually know that I am first created for the purpose and the will of God. Yes, marriage is designed by God to enhance the fulfillment of that purpose. And do you know what? If you do not desire to get married and people are putting pressure on you, that might be success for you. So attaining success waiting, first of all, is for you to even get to understand, God, what did you create me for? What is the purpose for which I was created? And I'll tell you why. I have here that is for my friend. We're coming from a program, and I saw that if I decided to get home before 8, we might, I hate being on transit when I'm supposed to be facilitating. If I'm listening, it's okay. So we had to buy some to just have this webinar. My friend, we're driving home together because we live around the same area. If imagine you are the creator of this power bank, right? You created this power bank to solve a problem. You did not create the power bank for the power bank to just be idle. I have my business card here. I intentionally ensure that you can see it's a two-sided business card. The front, what you can see is my business. Let me show you. This is my business. The NGO. I intentionally created this because I had an intention in mind. It's of this business card to just say, oh, I exist now, I can do what I want, I just want to get married, and I'm using it in context of we single ladies, right? So you need to identify what is God's purpose for your life. And why is that? Because if I'm going to the United Kingdom and I meet Mr. Jomiloju, and Mr. Jomiloju, where do you reside, please? Can you
Lagos.
can
Lagos.
in Lagos, and I am here in Abuja, and he calls me and say, "Oh, Greatness, please, I want us to go to somewhere together. If we're going to set out on a journey, we have to have a destination in mind. Because what people don't know is that marriage is not the goal. Marriage is never the end. Marriage is actually a means to an end. But if your definition of success is having that title, Mrs. is my destination, then in fact, you've been in this call, you're just like, okay, maybe they want to teach me how to actually get married. And yes, we want you to get married, but we want you to be happily married. There are people that are miserably married. So do you just want to have the title Mrs., and I usually call it miserable Mrs., or you want to be happily married such that you are depicting God's purpose and intention for marriage? Because when I see marriages that, I'm sure you and I, everyone on this call can attest to the fact that you have seen marriages that you have told yourself, if this is God's will for marriage, I don't want to get married. If you are in that WhatsApp group, unmute yourself and say, yes, I am. You are in that WhatsApp. All of us, we are there. Or you can use the chat box to say, yes, I am. Just throw in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. You have seen a marriage that you say, if this is marriage, I don't want. If this is wedding, and I'm not saying wedding, I'm saying marriage. I'm waiting for your response. Thank you, Mr. Elijah. I'm still waiting. So is it only me and Mr. Elijah that are in that WhatsApp group? I know, guys. Thank you, I Sparrow. I don't know who, oh my God, is that a name? I like your name, it's unique. Redmi Note 11 says, yes, I am. Madam Kike Lomos Taiwo says, yes, I am. Amazing. So we all have seen those kind of marriages. Does it mean that that was what God created marriage to be? No. The Bible says it is not good. Madam Dorcas says, yes, ma'am. It is not good for a man to be alone. That is to say, he said, I will make help suitable for him. The Bible even went further to say two are better than one. Right? And the Bible says in Isaiah 34, that none shall lack a mate in Zion. All these scriptures cannot just be in vain for you and I to start making confession to say, Father, I receive my God-ordained spouse, and eventually you get married and God forbids. So you want to define what is success in the context of God. I want to understand what your definition of success is for me. Yesterday, someone asked me a question that I already know the answer. We're just talking, what are you doing in life? Where are you? What's happening with you? And all of that and all of that. And she said, greatness, what do you really want from life? I just want to be at the center of the will of God. Whether that center of the will of God leads to whatever it is you want for me, I don't care. I just want to be at the center of the will of God. So for me, I have identified what success means. And I'm not saying that I have it all figured out. That's not what we're saying. Nobody in this world has it all figured out. Nobody has a perfect life. So I'm not saying that you should design a kind of life that you're saying, oh, this is the destination. You must have a 7-figure. It must end in 7-figure. Some even 7-figure in dollars. It must live, if you're in Lagos, it must live in Lekki or Banana Island or Bagada if it's on the mainland. You have all those criteria, right? And you say, because greatness said marriage is a means to an end so that I can live a comfortable life. So when you live a comfortable life, to what end? So for me, when I was, if you have read my book or you know my story, I was raised I had amazing dad when I was a child. My dad was my best friend. He was almost like my everything, that almost if all that happened in life didn't happen, maybe I would have idolized my dad. He was my role model. The way a child's relationship with his father affects the child's relationship with God. When I hear or see people that they don't trust God enough, I can zero it down to their relationship, the kind of relationship they have with their father. So I remember then, if you actually tell me I cannot do something, I'll look at you straight in the eye like, do you know who my dad is? My dad tells me I can do anything. Like my dad believes in me. My dad. As a matter of fact, I walk like my dad. So until I was 13, and you know when they say trailer pass in the middle of both of you. And I lost my relationship with my dad. My dad, things happened that if you read my book in my story, Rescued by Love, read my story in my book, Rescued by Love, Why I Cancelled My Wedding, you understand the proper context. And I remember that even though I was raised to be a pastor's child, my dad was a pastor. Yes, it was a general, he became a general overseer. It's just later on, but he was a chartered accountant. Yes, he was serving God. I usually say to people that I've not seen someone that loves God like my dad. I'm telling you, but I loves people and he loves God. And I remember that I used to just want to be like my dad. If you ask me what do you want to be in life, anything my daddy tells me I should be, that's what I want to be. Until, by the time I was 13 and we lost our relationship, it became really toxic, very toxic in the home. I said my dad became the lion of the tribe of the home. And the father that I was always excited that is around now became, when I hear the honk of his car or his voice, I'm terrified. I'm like, okay, what is the problem right now? And this went on and on till I finished secondary school. I became an atheist. I lost my faith in God because he was a man of God, quote unquote, that made my relationship with my dad go south. And I felt to myself, if God is good, why will he make my father a beast? Why will he make a loving man a beast? So I'd rather, all these people in church, they are just deceiving themselves. There is no God. Because if he's a good God, he will not do this to me. So I would rather say that there is no God, rather than say God is a bad or wicked God. So I became an atheist. I remember going to secondary school and my dad took me to the boarding house because my relationship with my mom too wasn't really smooth, and that's when you read the story, you understand why. So imagine you told God, keep me as a virgin till I get married, and you got pregnant, you got married as a virgin, right? And you got pregnant and you went to do scan. And I'm not blaming my mom, trust me, I love my mom and dad right now to pieces. And she did scan and they told her that, oh, this child is a boy, right? And, you are shopping for a boy child, you are preparing to have a boy child. You even told God while you were single that, oh, if you keep me as a virgin till I'm married, my first child is going to do ministry, right? And so it was just easy to just say, this child is like Samuel, right? Like Anna just says, if you give me a child, I'm going to give him back to you. So apparently, I can only just imagine that she had named me Samuel in her mind. And she was supposed to give birth to me April. I did not come. I did an extra month. May, I did not come. 10 months. Then I came after the 11th month, June 3rd, and I came out to be a female child. Who can describe the emotions this woman will be having? Like, I throughout the scan, I saw a male child. Then they gave birth to, and I gave birth to this child that used extra 2 months. Yoruba people used to call them Omokbenu. Do you understand? And then this child is another gender. So we didn't have that bond of mother and child. And she said I didn't suck breast for almost a week. So basically, we didn't have that kind of relationship as a child. My dad was my hero, was my everything. And so I was, quote unquote, avoiding home. And I was just in that place of, I've lost my relationship with my dad. I want to commit suicide. I hope you can still hear me. Because you know how network can be, right?
Yes.
Please let me know if you can still hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. And eventually, I came to the point where, thank you very much, Madam Kike. Thank you, Madam Toyin. Thank you, Madam Fisher. I came to the point where I finished school. I was extremely intelligent, and eventually, of course, this is me being an atheist where all my energy was poured into book. I don't believe in God. I even turned to a Muslim at a point in time. You know, when you're just confused about life, you don't even know what life has for you. Just taking it like, okay, this is what it comes, this is what it brings, and I just follow it. And at the age of 18, I got to that point where I'm asking God, just a minute. At the age of 18, I got to that point where I became homeless intentionally because God, you see, when God wants to get you, he will do everything to get you. So despite the fact that I was intelligent, I had an issue. We didn't have a physics teacher. And so I had all my papers as at SS2, except physics. So I'd taken jobs to say, oh, by the time WAEC is out, I'll make physics and I'll gain admission. And I'll continue with my atheist life. And God is on his own, I'm on my own. And my brothers and sisters, I eventually took O-level 7 times. I did JAMB 5 times. And I got to that place where I was extremely miserable. And on the top of all of this, I got to a point where, you know, when I share my story, and I wrote it in my book, Rescued by Love, Why I Cancelled My Wedding, I said my story began with the story of there is no more love, and everyone was created for love. Everyone was created for companionship. I am not here to tell you that, oh, yes, being single, attaining success while single, you will not feel honey, you will not feel lonely, you will not need companionship. But remember, it is not good for a man to be alone. It does not mean it is not good for a wife to be alone. It is not good for a husband to be alone. It is not good. I will not see. A help suitable for you can be Ruby's sisters community for now, where you're drawing strength with the other sisters in waiting, and you're drawing strength from the testimony of the life of the marriage of Mrs. Oluwatoyin. And you're like, if God can do this, and she mentioned to me that at least two of the people that they started together are happily married. See, drawing strength from that community is fulfilling the purpose of it is not good for Kikalomo to be alone or greatness to be alone. So you need to please stay in the place of constant community where you're not alone, such that you now start thinking of committing suicide, or you're thinking of giving up on God, or judging that God is unfaithful because of your marital status. So yes, we all need love. Yes, we all need companionship. However, while waiting for the man, can we just maximize the community that we have? Can we first of all have clarity? So now I was in that place where I didn't even know where I was in life until I was 18. And I remember that as at 18, I'd had my first sexual abuse by a pastor. Of course, that strengthened my hatred for God. My search for love, those that did not even want to abuse me sexually, when they are giving me things, I would even position myself like, oh, you've been giving me things, you have been nice to me. Don't you want anything from me? I have been damaged. And some of us are unmarried because we are damaged. And God is just trying to say that I have been preparing my son for you. And you cannot just go and destroy his life if you get married right now. Can you just fix your life? Can you just yield and surrender to me? Let me heal you and fix you. Let me help you to understand where you're going, why I created you, before you can think of a man. That's why some of us are still single. Some of us, because of the wounds of the past, because of our unresolved childhood trauma, we are toxic. And if you should position a good man, like the chapter 3 of my book, I titled that chapter, I Found Love and I Didn't Recognize It. I had this amazing guy that told me all that I'm doing today. I remember he would tell me, Greatness, I see you like Joyce Meyer. I see you writing. I see you speaking. I see you traveling around the place and speaking to nations. And I'll look at him like, who is this one talking about? Me? No, that's not me. I to be I had 5 businesses. My businesses were doing well. I had money. So what are you talking about? Me speaking, writing, counseling? No, that's not me. But this was a man that saw what God had created me for before the foundation of the world. But why waiting if you don't understand that destination that God has for you? You will sabotage a healthy relationship. You will sabotage even the right relationship. Some of us, we even wound that man. I was extremely out of my fear of, I'm not used to being loved unconditionally. Why is this guy loving me unconditionally? I sabotaged that relationship. And you can read the details of the story in the book. This was a man that when I was rounding up my project, ASU strike or maybe OAU strike started, and they asked us to leave the hostel. I didn't have a place to stay. And I remember he told me, oh, there is a flat in my house. You can come and stay. And of course, the me that have been abused, my next reflex was, oh, you want to have sex with me? And it's like, no, I see you as a role model for women. You will be mentoring. Yes, I finished from Great Ife. Mommy, did you finish from Ife as well? You can unmute now.
Yes.
Ah, amazing. No wonder that connection is there, you know. And the point is, this guy will say, no, I see you as a role model for other women, and I want to preserve your testimony. I would not touch you. My ladies and gentlemen and for those that are watching the replay or those that will watch the replay, for 6 months, I was living in this guy's room. One room self-contained, not room and parlor self-contained. This guy did not touch me. This guy did not kiss me. There was nothing like, oh, maybe he wants to hold me one kind or one kind. No, I'm even the one I was saying, is this guy normal? Because I know he was sexually active because I knew his life before he became born again. Now, this was a man that has a past, not a virgin. Don't get it twisted. But because he understood God's purpose for my life, he understands the assignment of God on my life, he told me, I will not touch you. So I sabotaged that healthy relationship because of the fear of, this is not the kind of love I'm used to. So some of us, we are the reason why we are single. We are the reason why we are unmarried. Because God is trying to preserve his son, that don't come and destroy this boy. I remember there are times when this guy will cook for me. He's the one that spoiled me to today. Today I was at a female conference and they said, they were talking about basically gender advocacy. I was trained by the UN on gender advocacy and women economic principle, women empowerment and all that. And one thing I said to them was, I can't remember cooking in about 7 years. I've not cooked. But it was this guy. You remember I used to be a caterer. And I remember he would tell me that when I started living in his house and I want to cook, you know, our traditional way of, you want to impress a man. So you want to cook for him, you want to do everything. And he would tell me, no. The time you are using to go to the market and cook for me, you would have counseled like 3 women. You would have transformed their mind. You would have helped them to heal. And I'll be like, what's wrong with this man? And that is the conditioning I have right now. He was the one that always does the cooking. If he's not cooking for us, guess what? He will take me to a restaurant and buy fast food for us to eat. So today, I cannot marry a man that will tell me, if you cannot cook for me, as an instruction, not as a compulsion, not out of love. I can cook for you because I love you. But you giving me as an instruction, like the one I almost married before I canceled the wedding 7 days to the event, you know, it's not going to happen because you don't understand how crucial my assignment is. I finished from that training around after 7 p.m. We were driving home. And I told my friend, you know what? Let's park at this golf club and let me have my webinar here. If I'm married to a man that does not understand the sensitivity of my assignment and the life that will be transformed by just listening to this webinar today, he will tell me, oh, this one, it's only webinar she knows. It's only ministry she knows. It's only business she knows. She does not care about the home. She's not a wife. She's not a wife material. So if you don't understand why you need to maximize, attain success while waiting, you're not ready for marriage. So guess what? By the time I was 18 and I was saying to God that, so I was in that place where I was contemplating suicide. I left Lagos for Minna because I felt like, oh, this was greener pasture, and I'm going, when you say, I'm leaving Lagos to Minna, because I saw in the JAM brochure that they could take me without physics. And I got to Minna, and sorry, the AC isn't working here. So sorry, I'm fanning myself. And I remember that I was sexually harassed again. I wrote this detail in the book. And at that time, I just felt to myself that, let me just kill myself, because I was facing rejection. And the point is, some of this abuse and rejection, and that's why I wrote my second book on abuse, teaching people how to heal from abuse, the different kind of abuse and all of that. We unconsciously attract this abuse because of our programming. Energy. The energy you release to the world is the one that will come to you. Today, there is no man, and I'm not saying with every sense of humility. You cannot sexually harass me, abuse me. You can harass in terms of people that just see you as sex object. But then there's this energy you release and say, oh, you are not that kind of person. It cannot happen again because I'm clear about my identity. When you're not clear about your identity and you feel, oh, I want to please this, I want this person to like me, that's how you start getting into all this kind of abuse. But when you know that every abuse that happened, this is the role I played that enhanced it to happen, it will not happen again. So I got to that place where I said, God, why did you create me? Why, if there is God, can you show yourself to me? And you need to get to that place. Because when he told me that the reason why you have gone through all of this is because I'm sending you to this kind of people. I started Greatness. I told you that my business card, the front is my NGO, the back is my business. So the front is Greatness Unleashed by Love Foundation. And I remember when he told me that I'm sending you to the homeless, to the rejected, to the abused, the orphans. I don't judge prostitutes because I know what it means to be broke and miserable and have no one to help you and shelter you. I've been there. So I go to hotels and I do projects for them. I lead my team to go there because I understand my assignment. And when I met this man, remember, when I had sabotaged a healthy relationship and I became self-aware to say, oh, wait a minute, it's like I'm not all right. And some of us need to get to that place of self-awareness to say, mi ò gbádùn. Like, and I'll translate it if you don't understand Yoruba. As I'm going like this, like I'm not all right. If a man should jam me, in fact, I'm going to destroy the man's life. You need to get to that place, and it's a good place to be. Chapter 4 of my book is titled, Then I Became Self-Aware. I had to write the story of my life to say, I did not just say yes to a narcissistic man. I did not just say yes to an abusive man. It is because we gravitate towards the family. And that is why you need to redefine your normal. You need to change what is familiar to you. See, if what is familiar to you is toxic and abusive marriage, you need to start disassociating yourself from such people and start surrounding yourself with healthy marriages that show you that good marriages still exist and a good man is available for you. But if you are conditioned for an abusive person, even when the right person comes, you will self-sabotage it. Because it has happened several times. I've worked with clients across 32 states in Nigeria and across 4 continents in the world. I'm not telling you a local problem, I'm telling you a global problem. You see, dysfunctional home, the effect of abuse, is a global problem. And some of us are called to the mountain of family because family is the foundation of the spheres of influence. God designed everyone to be raised and nurtured in a home. And that's why some of us are married right now, because he knows that we have to the percentage of the dysfunctional home that will lead to a highly dysfunctional society. And so while waiting, Attaining success while waiting is understanding why did God create me. I started Greatness Unleashed by Love Foundation February 22, 2015, where I had clarity about what God will have me do. I understood that, now that guy that I said in chapter 3 of my book, that I was almost calling his name. So there are 2 Dr. G's in my book, first Dr. G and second Dr. G. So the first one was the chapter 3 one that was amazing, loving, caring. And you know how God did it, that the very first invitation I had to speak outside of the NGO that I started, or the ministry, depending on what you want to call it, was in his own town. As a matter of fact, they booked my hotel, but his brother said, no, you're not sleeping in an hotel. You are going to sleep in our house. His family hosted me in the first place I was invited to speak as a guest speaker. They gave me honorarium. I never knew you can speak and they will give you money. They will pack fruit for you and all of that. He came to pick me from the car park, drove me to the place, and I was telling myself, wait, this is what, I'm not calling his name. This is what this guy always told me. This is what this guy told me that I deserve. Why didn't I just believe then? Why did I feel I don't deserve it? When I was playing, before we started, I was playing Settle for Less. That song that says, and we will never settle for less. We know there's more that's found in him. You need to be aware of the love of God for you. That is attaining. See, if that is even the only thing you attain as your success while waiting, to understand the love of God in our godness. You see, the Pauline prayers, when the Apostle Paul said that we understand the depth of the love of God, the height of the love of God, because if you don't understand the kind of love that God has for you, you will settle for less. If you don't understand how deep, how wide, how God treasures you as a queen, that he sent Jesus. See, when I was going to cancel my wedding 7 days to the event, the question that led to my decision, my final decision, was the question Pastor Sholama Bogide asked me and said, Greatness, if God sent Jesus to die for your sin, will you give you this kind of man? And some of you, you are in some relationships, you are dating married men that, see, I'm not telling you what I've not done before. Me too, I've done it before. You know, I've told you. See, and I'm a very realistic person. Like, I am one of the realest person you will meet. We have been there where we just feel it's only these married men that understand us. They are mature, you know. When you tell them you don't want, they respect. When you want, they will come, they will show up for you. See, all those things, the devil is just conditioning you to settle for less, such that you don't know that you're supposed to be treasured and treated as a priority. And so, understanding the love of God is one of the ways to attain success while waiting, so that you know that if a man does not respect if he doesn't respect the vow he took with his wife, what am I doing with him? What am I doing with him, man? Does not honor me, that each time he sees me is only to touch and open my clothes, and you don't honor me, you don't respect. I understand how sensitive my assignment is. What are we doing together? So attaining success while waiting is understanding the kind of love that you deserve and saying, I will not settle for less. You, this guy. Yeah, so I like you. In fact, my body wants you. My flesh and emotions want you. But my spirit knows that I deserve the best. Somebody needs to put in the comment section and say, I deserve the best. Put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and say, I deserve the best. So I'll end it there, and I'll allow you to take to ask questions, to say, attaining success while waiting. Some people have told us, oh, a single lady cannot have a car. Thank you, Oluwatoyin. A single lady cannot have a car. A single lady cannot live alone. My sister, they told me that thing. That as a single lady, don't live alone or you will not find husband. You have to be living with your parents if you want to find husband. Thank you, Ice Sparrow says I deserve the best. Thank you. I'm telling you, God has given you the best already. Give the best to us. Tell us we deserve the best, you know. So And all these stereotypes, all this nonsense and jargons that they have told us to say, oh, while waiting, no, you cannot be earning 7 figures. Some people are afraid of success. I hope you know. Some single ladies are afraid of success. They don't want to do masters. They're like, I don't want to have masters now, and my husband will now be afraid. If he's afraid of your success, he is not the right person for you, because God designed a man. The reason why on the day of the wedding they call them bridegroom is that it will groom you to be a better version of yourself. So if he's afraid of this level of success, my sister is the wrong person. I say it. I don't need to be a prophet to tell you. I'm telling you what God has said. Because it says that 2 are better than 1. 1 will chase 1,000, 2 will chase 10,000. So if it's not giving you 10,000 times result that you are having when you are single, my sister is the wrong person. You don't need to pray. Hear the word of the Lord today and go and end that relationship. Because the level of success that I had when I was not in a relationship before this guy that I canceled the wedding 7 days to the event, I was going to tertiary institutions, brothels, rehabilitation centers. I mean, orphanages, we were doing projects, we were doing amazing stuff. And this guy came and say, oh, you have to submit to me. So if I say shut down your ministry or don't go to that place, you must not go. Please. That's why, you see, when I canceled my wedding 7 days to the event, I was dealing with guilt, not because why did I cancel my wedding? No. I was the happiest person for canceling my wedding. It was the guilt of why did you stay 7 days to the event? God had used you to help other ladies to heal emotionally. You have done this as a business, you have done this in ministry, you have testimony spread across people that have traveled out of Nigeria, people that have been in different places that God have used you for them. You have taught them never to settle for less, and you said, wow. So it was that gift for me. But you know the point, that experience humbled me, because before then I used to tell people that by the grace of God, if you send me the picture of the guy, this is the guy I want to get married to. If I see the picture, by the grace of God, I can tell you it's the right or wrong person. And of course, because of course it's my calling, because it's my assignment, I know. So I thought with other people, how come I said so that's the question I had, right? But for me to the wedding 7 days to the event, because I knew that this marriage is a means to an end. Remember where we started from, and it will not get and then is actually fulfilling God's plan and purpose for my life. Thank you very much for listening to me. If you have questions, I'm ready to take them now.
Wow. Thank you very much, ma. God bless you, ma. Thank you very much, ma. What an amazing session. Please, can we go to the chat, ma? Say thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much, ma. I'm going to the chat, ma. Say thank you very much, ma. God bless you, ma. Thank you very much, ma. So right about now, we'll be taking our question and answer. So please, if you have any question, you can kindly unmute your microphone or type it in the chat room. So I'll wait. If you have any question, please kindly unmute your microphone or type it in the chat room.
Thank you. Someone is speaking, but is it my network? Someone is speaking, but I cannot hear the person.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now, ma.
This story being shared that
I can't hear. Stop live streaming. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Go ahead and speak, ma. Well, the volume is low and it's breaking. That's why I even had to turn off my video. Oh, it's raining there. Oh my God. Nigeria.
Yes, yes, it is raining now. I was even having network issues before.
So sorry about that. There is a question in the comment section. How do you let go of the hurt and pain of your past so that it doesn't affect the present? See, if you want to answer that question, we'll take another 1 hour. But you see this from lemon to lemonade. How to use your pain to unleash business. You can get copies from Mommy Olo. It will help you deal with all the problems. But I'll just tell you, someone is laughing. Can you hear me? Or is it from my hand?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now. Your network was breaking.
Oh, my network was breaking. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so someone asked the question in the chat box, so I was reading it out. The person says, how do you let go of the hurt and pain of your past so it doesn't affect you? And I'm telling you that the Lemonade book actually deals with that. I took you through, so I can even run you through the chapter title so that you understand the reason why I said so. And this is not me advertising my book, it's just because there is already a material that I've created to answer that and deal with it extensively. So chapter 1 says everyone has the seed of greatness in them. Chapter 2 says the abuse of greatness, where I explained how, despite the fact that we are created for greatness, we are created to be men and women of global and eternal influence, we are abused. Pain and odds, they are part of life. However, you must not waste your pain, because it is from using that pain that you can unleash your greatness best. From that story of that pain, of that hurt, that you think, I just want to keep this to myself. I don't want nobody to know. I want them to see me as put together. All those English. Chapter 3 now says practical steps to emotional recovery. Can you see that it's already dealing with your issues? Then chapter 4 talks about the syrup, the unconditional love of God, which, of course, as you can see from the book, from lemon to lemonade, irrespective of the bitter lemon experience you have had, the syrup of the love of God, when you allow the knowledge of the love of God to flood your heart, see, there's a reason why the Bible says that if he could not withhold Jesus from us, how shall he not with him freely give us all things? There's a reason. When I talked about leveraging your emotions to unleash your greatness, where I talked about emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence is you understanding, first of all, yourself. What is my personality? How do I respond to pain? How do I respond to hurt? How do I recognize other people when they are in pain? How am I sensitive? So there is self-awareness. There are components of emotional intelligence, which I put there, and the role of coaching, counseling, therapy, and mentoring. So that actually deals with it. And I'll tell you why. You need to deal with this pain of the past so that it doesn't affect the present. It's because, see, when you don't resolve the pain of the past, when you don't let go, when you don't heal and don't use your pain to unleash your greatness, you are carrying a weight on you that it's too much for you to bear. And the Bible talks about, because the Christian program can be very, very comfortable, right? Hebrews 12 verse 2 that talks about we letting go of some weights. See, pain, trauma, hurt, There are those weights. So you need to get this book and use it. See, and the beautiful part is, I usually tell people that I give a complimentary coaching or therapy session when you get my book. But at the end of the day, when people finish my book, during the session, they are even telling me, see, that your book has answered all my questions. I don't even need the therapy session. I don't need the coaching session. So they use it for something else because I poured myself in the book. And depending on the kind of pain and what it is, so you really need to just allow yourself to heal. Use available materials. Of course, embrace healing to know that your pain and those odds does not define you. Contact Mommy Oluwatoyin at Mommy Oluwatoyin. You can order the book from her. It's 5,000 naira. But because you are ordering from her, you can get it at 4,000 naira, excluding delivery fee. So you pay for your delivery or you pick it up from her, either of the two. So you can just make payments to her and pick your book. She would, settle me. Don't worry, me and now we are mother and child. So that is how I'll answer the question. I saw another question in the chat box, but Mommy wanted to ask something earlier. Let me allow her to speak.
No,
I didn't. Sorry?
I said I was Hello?
I heard the hello, but what you were saying before was breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I heard. Can you hear me?
Okay. I said again about your story. I just saw inspired. And I was trying to do.
Can anybody else re-echo what she's saying? If you heard her clearly. Network, don't do this to us now. Okay, so it's not only me. Madam Fisad, Mr. Elijah too said they can't hear you clear. So it's not only me, it's your network. Maybe you turn off your video and try and speak. Let's see if we can hear you. Mommy, can you hear me? Because we could hear you when you were using your phone to speak and your laptop was just on for video.
Now?
Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear now, yes.
Better now, okay. I said I got inspired about your story again. And I said I was trying to say to the participant to use this opportunity to ask questions and feel free to come as they are to ask questions, real life questions.
Yeah.
Real life questions.
There are questions in the chat box. Thank you.
Yes.
Not perfect. My question is, sometimes your friend or teammates tend to betray you when doing some things. In that case, what can someone do? So let me read the second one. Is it a continuation of this? Is it normal for you to be on your own and decide not to talk to anyone because most people you love tend to betray you or make you dislike them? Okay, so let me answer the second before I come to the third. So the second question is, when your friend or teammate tend to betray you when doing something, in that case, what can you do? Betrayal is part of life, my dear sisters and my brothers. See, if you want to be great in life, you have to actually be ready for betrayal. Like, you have to know. And that's why when I tell people that you need to get my lemonade book, it's because I know that betrayal, rejection, abuse, pain, they are part of life. We all cannot escape all the things. So you cannot say, let me tell you one lie that the devil uses. The devil almost always wants you to feel that you are the problem. And I'm not saying that sometimes we are not the problem. You remember when I was speaking, I shared it to say, in some instances when we have some character flaws and God is trying to prune us, he makes this betrayal and rejection and persecutions to come to basically polish us and refine us so that we can come out as gold. So yes, when God uses these betrayals and rejection and abuse, God is not the cause. God does not cause abuse. God does not cause pain. God does not cause trauma or hurt. However, he is a master in using them. As a matter of fact, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 2 verse 8, that if the devil had known, he would not have crucified the King of glory. At the end of the day, the devil always regrets the abuse that throws at us, especially when we have mastered the act of using our pain to unleash our greatness. So you might not be the problem. They might be the problem, to say that it's a lot of things. I was trained by the UN to be a life skills trainer. And one of the things that I've seen that causes, for example, now go to the second question, where people betray you or they make you dislike them and all of that. Most conflict originate from conflict of values. So you need to first identify what are your values for life. How are you choosing these your friends and your teammates that are betraying you? Because the reason why they are disliking, betraying you is sometimes it's because you are not going the same way. Sometimes it's because you don't value the same thing. Sometimes it's, for example, if me, for example, right now, I have a value of integrity. I have a value of keeping to my word. And I'm dating a guy that each time he says, I'll call you in 1 hour or I'll meet you in 1 hour, it never keeps to time. There will always be conflict. There will always be betrayal. There will always be abuse. So those are the, you really need to dig deep to know what are the causes of this betrayal, dislike, where is it really coming from? Is it from a place of rejection where this person's value does not align with my own, this person's destination does not align with my own, or is it from a place where I am actually the one expecting too much and I'm not communicating what I expect? So there are several things that I might not be able to answer directly, except to put it in maybe in public context. But I hope I'm able to answer that question. Yeah. Okay, answer the two questions. How do you get the book? I've told you to contact Mommy Luwatoyin Deji Ayode. Except I'm not from Ruby. So from Ruby's sister, you can just sort of maybe drop a message to say I'm not from Ruby's sister, and then let me know if you have me, because I shared it on some WhatsApp group pages and on my status as well. So then,
yeah. Thank you. And also to add to that, to answer that question, being asked by ISPAL, how do you let go of the hurt and pain of your past so that it doesn't affect the present? It is only like, in addition to what Sister Godet has said, you need to find your healing. You need to be healed. She is able to speak about her experience, her past experience, painful experience, is simply because she has healed. So a lot of us, if you have not healed, it's hard for you to bring out your story. You're painful, you're disgusting. You know, to you, it's quite disgusting. Like, it's something you don't want to share. You don't want people to know about you. But when you have healed, you'll be bold enough to share your story to pass someone else. To be able to tell them, you have plowed that route. Look at what she said. Look at her journey. I see how she has shared her story. You know, sharing her story comfortably and boldly. And she's not even ashamed of it because she has found healing. She has totally healed. So that's why she can conveniently speak from pain to purpose. Now, you know, we all started from the point of what is success. And I said, you know, success to me like a aim or a purpose. So
Yeah.
now she's been able to discover her purpose, but it
Yeah.
started from that painful journey experience.
Yeah.
And she can only do this, and many of us that you speak about the past is because they are healed. So I
Yes.
feel you need to find your healing, you need
Yeah.
to speak up, you need to
Yes.
find the right association, the right company to talk to. You know, you need to be comfortable with your story. It doesn't matter. Don't feel that you'll be just sharing your story. No, don't look at it from that point of view. Look at it, you have gone through that route in life to be an inspiration to others.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. That's an addition to how greatness and answer is. So you need to
Yes.
find your healing as fast as you can.
Yeah.
It's very important. Yes, and also to Jamilo's about speaking about betrayal in life, even Jesus was betrayed. We